There are troubled times that we face at different times in our life. There's crises that we face at different times in our life. But it's not about the crisis. It's not about the troubled time. It's about how you face it. It's about how you respond to it. It's about how you act in the midst of that challenge, that crisis that determines your outcome. Amen. So I'm speaking to you about having faith in God in troubled time. Many of you understand what I'm going to say, and that is that when you are going through troubled times in your life, the enemy fights you, and you're going to see here, with fear, because he's trying to stop your faith from working. So he attacks your faith or attacks you with fear by the circumstance, the situation of the circumstance, the area of what is happening in your life. So he attacks you to get you to be moved by looking at it more than looking at God's ability to deliver you or to manifest a miracle on your behalf. So a lot of Christians are moved by situation. When we always make this statement, we walk by what? Faith. And not by sight. Somebody lying in here. Somebody lying, because some people are saying they walk by faith and they're not by sight. But when they open their mouth, when they're going through a trial, a tribulation, some frustration, a challenging time, a crisis in their life, they talk more about it than they do about the word. And therefore, what you magnify will be magnified. And so I'm trying to tell you today that if you have faith in God in challenging, trying, doing troubled time, you will see the God of more than enough show up for you. How many of y'all believe that? Now, before I do this, let me just make this statement, is that rising up out of troubled time means that there's something probably in your life that you need to change. I'm going to say it to this side over here. Rising up out of troubled time means there's probably something that you need to change. And see, change is always seems to be resisted, because when you change for the better, things will start happening more positive. But change is never change until it's changed. Come on, until it's changed. So you can sing about change, you can prophesy about change, you can dance about change, you can do everything you want to about change, but change is never change until it's changed. Y'all with me? So you have to have a strong desire, and I'm believing God that you're going to have a greater desire, or to be more resolved in your commitment that God, what is it when I'm going through troubled time that I need to change? What do I need to do, or what needs to be changed in my life? Because a lot of times, a lot of things that happen in life are happening because you have not been willing to change. So there's 3 areas that you need to put down in your notes, that you need to look at about the problem of being able to willing to change. Number 1, you got to be willing to change your attitude. You got to be willing to change your attitude. And when you write that one down, willing to change attitude, push your neighbor and say, I feel uncomfortable sitting next to you right now. I feel uncomfortable sitting next to you because I think you got an attitude issue. Okay? Number two is you got to be willing to change your lifestyle. See, some of us are going through some things because we got some funky lifestyles. Am I on the wrong side? No. There's some things in your lifestyle that you need to change that are bringing situations and negativity into your life or crisis in your life. Number 3, you got to be willing maybe to change your priorities. Change your priorities. Number one is what? Number two is what? Change your lifestyle. Number three is? Change your priority. If you're not, those are some of the major changes that need to take place while you're going through a trauma, troubled time, a crisis in your life. Now, there are 6 areas that I'm going to give you right now that are going to help bring speedy resolve to a crisis or end a season of struggle in your life quicker through these 6 areas. Number one, after we read Mark. Okay? Number one. Now, are you in Mark now?
Yes, sir.
In Mark, we see where Jesus spoke to them. Let's go to the other side, verse 35. And then in the midst, verse 37, and there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat against the ship so that it was now full. Out the Amplified Bible, they'll put it on the screen. It says that there was a wind that came up of hurricane proportion. You see it on the screen up there? And a furious storm of wind of hurricane proportion arose, and waves kept. You need to see the way it says, and kept beating into that boat. That boat is your marriage. That boat is your finances. That boat is your physical health. Whatever it is that you're going through, and kept beating into that boat so that it was already becoming filled. Now it says of hurricane proportion. Listen to me. You got to get this. Jesus said, who said?
Jesus.
Let us go to the... And Jesus is the Son of God. So God was there with them. God spoke the word. Let's go to the other side. And God said, heaven and earth will pass away, but not one jot or tittle of his word will pass. So they had the word of God, the word of faith, speaking to go to the other side. Jesus was with them in the ship. And then you'll see in this passage where they cried and panicked, and they ran to Jesus and woke him up. In verse 38, and he was in the hinder part of the ship asleep on a pillow, and they awaked him, saying unto him, Master, carest thou that not we perish? And he arose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, Peace be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. Verse 40, let's read it together. 1, 2, 3. And they feared exceedingly. And he said unto them, Why are you so what?
Fearful.
How is it that you have
No faith.
no faith? One thing that you do not want God to do, or Jesus, is to say to you, why is it that you have no faith? But see, your faith, we don't know what kind of faith you have, and sometimes you don't know what kind of faith you have until you go through something. Until there's a trial, until there's a tester, there's a proving point in your life that you get an opportunity to use your faith. So using your faith is good. So when we talk about faith, but you got to use your faith. And first, faith is working. It should be working in your life all the time. So it says, then Jesus said, because they feared, they got fearful. They lost their faith, because fear and faith don't stay in the same house. You either in fear or you in faith. There is no gray areas. You're one or the other. So he said, why are you so fearful? Why is it that you have no faith? See, we can talk it, but can you walk it? Can you live this thing? Can you act on it?